Now, allow me to introduce myself. I am king. A sovereign declaration. We are a chain. I'm unbreakable and bright, moving together from the darkness to the light. I can't be who I ought to be, unless you can be who you ought to be. Allow me to introduce myself. I am king, not a crown on my head, but a fire in everything. I am the echo of discipline, whispered through Malcolm's clenched fist. The steady steps of Elijah's vision, head high, heart full, nothing missed. I am the blueprint in Garvey's hands, building black nations from broken lands. Not a tenant in the system that was never mine, a sovereign architect drawing my own design. This ain't performance, this is frequency. 500 beds, this an energy. I don't just carry names, I carry missions. Generative man on a 180-day vision. We are insane, unbreakable and bright, moving together from the darkness to the light. I can't be who I ought to be, it's true, unless you can be who you ought to be too. I carry Tubman's torch through midnight fields, and sojourner's truth in every word I wield. From Moses King, my father's name, I inherited hustle, hope, and unshakable flame. I sip wisdom from W.E.B.'s pen, rise with Booker T, brick by brick, again and again. Mary McLeod taught me how to teach, how to reach minds that history tried to bleach. C.J. Walker whispers wealth in my stride. Reginald Lewis shows me how to rise with pride. I got Nat, Denmark, and Shaka in my bones. A warrior sharpened by ancestral tones, not rented inventory. I'm the owned land, building love energy, tribes with sovereign hands. We are a chain, unbreakable and bright, moving together from the darkness to the light. I can't be who I ought to be, it's true, unless you can be who you ought to be too. QEJ and Fred lit fires in my chest. I don't just resist, I rebuild, I protest. Entertainment ain't just a stage, it's a spell. Marley, Prince, Michael, I wear it well, but I ain't sedated by the construct's dame. I name the system and I name my aim. Baldwin, Langston, Swain and Hill. My tongue is a blade, my pen can kill. Frederick taught me to speak and be heard. Tone Sackles in the sermons, pain in the word. I carry their frequency into the room. Every word I write is a seed, not a tune. 56 years old, fourth quarter alive on surgical strikes. I'm at work, we are a chain, unbreakable and bright, moving together from the darkness to the light. I can't be who I ought to be, it's true, unless it can be who you ought to be. Allow me to introduce myself. Allow me to introduce myself. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the king. Hey. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the dream they couldn't kill, the player that wants, the storm that's still. My brown trouble crowned with flame. I am king, not just in title but in name. I am the chain between the past and the new, between the ancestors, spider and the tribe I'm building with you. Not a hustle, not a ride, a 180 they be pumping. Not running from the wreckage, I'm the one who kept coming. I lost $1 million and I kept my soul. Material integrity was always the goal. Repaying every debt with love and proof. Consciousness creates capital, that's my truth. I don't broadcast norm, I broadcast signal from the fully human frequency. Nothing's trivial. This is the introduction, the beginning of what's real. Allow me to introduce myself. I am king. Kill. I am king. You're a chain, unbreakable, breakable, and bright. We are a chain, unbreakable and bright.